So you're thinking about going solar for your home. Awesome. Now, I bet you've spent a ton of time looking at the panels, right? Which ones are best, how they look. But what if I told you the real heart of your system isn't the thing that's actually catching the sun? Yeah, that's right. The inverter, it's the brain. Think of it this way. Your panels, they're the muscle, doing the heavy lifting. But the inverter, it's the smarts. It's the piece of tech that takes all that raw energy from the sun and, transforms it into the power your home can actually use. It's managing everything, keeping an eye on performance, basically running the whole show. And if you cheap out on the brain, well, it doesn't matter how strong your muscles are, you're just not going to perform. So when you're talking about a component that's that critical, you've got to wonder, right? Is there a gold standard, a brand that the pros turn to, the one that kind of sets the benchmark for everyone else? Well, in the Aussie solar world, the answer is a big, fat yes. And that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to take a really close look at Fronius, a name you'll hear over and over again if you're talking about top-tier solar inverters here in Australia. Okay, so what's the deal with Fronius? Why all the hype? We're going to unpack the brand, dig into its reputation, and really understand why it's seen as such a premium choice. And the slide, it pretty much says it all, doesn't it? These things are engineered and built in Austria, and that alone says a lot about the standard of quality we're talking about. It's that quality that's made them a huge favorite with installers all over Australia. I mean, these are the guys who have to fix things when they break. So when they trust a brand, you listen. They're used for everything from your standard home to bigger commercial setups, and it all comes back to one thing: a reputation for just rock-solid, long-lasting performance. All right, so let's dig a little deeper. Why do so many Aussies end up choosing Fronius? What are the key reasons behind its popularity? It really just boils down to these core strengths. First off, the build quality is exceptional. That means it's reliable, which translates to fewer headaches and consistent power for you. Then there's the high efficiency, which, let's be honest, means more money saved on your power bill. And it's not just the box itself. You're getting smart grid compatibility, really advanced monitoring so you can see exactly what your system's doing, and, this is a big one, strong local customer support. Right here in Australia. No overseas call centers. Now, let's just pause on that efficiency number for a second. Up to 98.3%. I mean, what does that actually mean for you? Well, in simple terms, it means that almost none of the power your panels are making gets wasted. It's taking that raw DC power and converting it to the AC power your house uses with almost perfect precision. So you're squeezing every last drop of value out of your solar investment. Every single day. And this feature? This is an absolute game changer, especially for our climate. See, a lot of other inverters are fanless, and on a brutal 40-degree summer day, they can overheat and actually throttle back their power to protect themselves. Just when you need them most, Fronius uses what they call active cooling. Basically, it has smart fans inside that kick on to keep everything cool. The result? Your inverter keeps pumping out maximum power even when the Aussie summer is doing its absolute worst. Any company can talk a big game about reliability, but the warranty, that's where they really put their money where their mouth is. Fronius gives you a 10-year warranty. That's a huge vote of confidence in their own product. And for you, it's just long-term peace of mind. Okay, so let's say you're convinced the quality is there, but which Fronius model is the right one for your house? Let's do a quick run-through of the main lineup. First up, you've got the Fronius Primo. This is pretty much the workhorse for most Aussie homes. It's designed for single-phase power, which is what the vast majority of us have. It's also super flexible, which is great if you have a tricky roof with panels facing different ways. Next in line is the Fronius Simo. You'd be looking at this one for bigger systems with higher energy needs. Think large homes with ducted aircon, a pool, the whole shebang, or even a small business. It's built for a 3-phase connection, which just means it can handle a much bigger electrical load. And then you've got the Gen 24 Plus. This is the top-of-the-line, future-proof model. It's a hybrid inverter, which means it's built from the get-go to work perfectly with a home battery. So if you're dreaming about energy independence and having backup power when the grid goes down, this is the one you want to be looking at. All right, and now for the big one. The question that's probably been on your mind this whole time. All this incredible performance, this Austrian engineering, it all sounds great, but what's it going to cost me? Let's get real and break down the price of all this performance. So let's lay it all out. The pros are pretty much everything we've just talked about. Incredible efficiency, a durable design that's built to last, a solid warranty, all that good stuff. The main con, and let's just be upfront about it, is the higher initial cost. You're definitely paying a premium compared to budget brands. They can also be a bit on the heavy side, and the installation might be a bit more involved, but hey, that's what your installer is for, right? To make this a bit more real, let's look at the popular Primo series. You can see the models here and their typical retail prices. As you'd expect, the price goes up as the capacity, or the kilowatts, go up. But let's focus on the most common size for a typical Aussie home, the 5 kilowatt model. A 5 kilowatt Fronius Primo is probably going to set you back somewhere between $2,400 and $2,700. This is really the sweet spot for a lot of people, balancing that upfront cost with great energy production. Now, let's say you need a lot more power for that bigger home or small business we talked about. You'd be looking at something like a 10 kilowatt Fronius Simo. And yeah, the price jumps up pretty significantly here, but that reflects its much higher capacity and that 3-phase capability. And this is a really, really important point. These are just the retail prices for the inverter unit itself. Your final installed price can actually be a good bit lower once you factor in things like government solar rebates and whatever package deals your installer might be offering, so please always get a proper detailed quote. So after looking at the tech, the different models, and of course the cost, let's try and land on a final verdict. Is a premium Fronius inverter the right call for you and your home? At the end of the day, it really all boils down to this one question. Is a Fronius inverter actually worth that premium price tag? Well, the general feeling from experts and owners alike is pretty clear on this. If your main goals are reliability and getting the most long-term savings, we're talking over the 10, 15, maybe even 20-year lifespan of your solar system, then the answer is yes. That higher price up front is really an investment in quality. It pays you back over time with better performance and just not having to worry about it. It's about getting strong, long-term value, not just finding the cheapest price today. And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Choosing an inverter isn't just about buying a piece of equipment. It's an investment strategy for your home. So the real question you've got to ask yourself is this. Are you investing for the short term, just trying to save a bit of cash right now? Or are you investing for the decade ahead?